Sup YouTube, it's TCG here and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. This channel you get tons of Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. A very crazy statistic, 60% of the people watching the content that is posted on my channel is actually not subscribed, which is mind-boggling as we're actually creeping our way to 90,000 subscribers, which is crazy. I want to thank every single person that is watching the daily content, and also if you like what you see, feel free to leave a like. It is super effective on the YouTube algorithm and I always appreciate it. With that being said, today we're going to be taking a look at Surging Sparks, our next set coming out very shortly over here in the West with, I think the release date is the November 8th, so on a Friday there, we're going to be getting new cards, and then 2 weeks after that we're going to be having legal tournaments with these new cards, but Japan already has access to these cards, and today we're going to be taking a look at some deck lists, see what is doing well with these new cards, what the meta shakeup is left and right, and I'm very curious to see what kind of new cards will be played in high amounts. So without further ado, let's dive in. It's going to be based on the results from this weekend. So we're going to be taking a look at City Leagues. City Leagues are the equivalent of League Cups over here in the West, and they are typically capped always in Japan with 64 people. So 64 people are playing in the City Leagues. And the decks that are doing well are the ones we're going to be talking about. Most of the time, we're going to be taking a look at the top 4 performances. But also, if a unique deck pops up left and right, we might take a look at it as well. So let's dive in with the first one being the one from Tokyo, where Charizard was able to win it all. Yeah, what can we still say about Charizard? Everyone knows this deck by now. It is very powerful. You can have access to Briar and Dusknoir to have some prizes that you can go in your way. Blow up a Dusknoir, make sure the opponent has had 2 prizes, and then Charizard, boom, can knock you something out. And you can take an additional prize card through the means of Briar. So typically, with 2 attacks, you should be able to win the game with a situation like that. So you have Klawf for setup, you have Rotom for setup, not a lot of spicy stuff. If there's not a lot of new stuff in here, like there's no new card from Surging Sparks, we're just gonna continue on with the rest of the list because you guys don't have all day. But if you want, you can always print screen the deck lists that are posted on the screen right now, and then make those yourself on TCG Live as soon as the set drops. But for Surging Sparks, I see that there's not a lot of crazy new impactful cards, but we're still gonna go through it. We have Dragapult, Dusknoir. This actually was a list that won, very similar to one that won the Dortmund Regional, so there's that. Using Dragapult, having access to Sparkling Crystal, the Temple of Sinnoh still, solid card inclusion, and now we have Dragapult, another version of Dragapult. It's Regidrago with 2 copies of the Dragapult EX. Also a 60 we are familiar with by now. The Radiant Zard is surely but steadily becoming a mainstay in the 60. So there's that. Lugia Chinchino with 1 copy of Klefki. The Klefki could be nice against a lot of archetypes where you can slow them down. Imagine Jet Energy, the Klefki to the active, and out of nowhere, or just attach and retreat could also work. But the main point is clear. You can shut off the opponent's abilities from their basic Pokemon, so no more Squack ability, no more Teal Dance, all that stuff. You can slow down Raging Bolt quite heavily with that, but also can allow you to actually use Summoning Star over something like an Iron Thorns, for example. Shove Klefki in the active, then use Summoning Star. It is all possible now. So a very solid 60, I would say. They are actually still playing Masagosa and a couple of Nazball. No Squack ability in here. It seems that people from the West do it all the time. And that's about it. No new decks in the top 8 in Tokyo. Then moving forward, we have Baraki with, Iron Thorns winning it all. Iron Thorns with 2 copies of Cornerstone. And funny enough, there's also a copy of the Wellspring Ogerpon in here. Wellspring Ogerpon could use Sup to trap opponents, and that's pretty much why it is in the list. With a high amount of gusting with boss's orders, you can sometimes trap the opponent, and that's going to be really powerful when they don't have switch outs anymore. So that's going to be a cheeky way you can win. But not only that, because you're playing Sparkling Crystal, Sparkling Crystal could also allow the Wellspring to do some crazy stuff for sure. So yeah, this is the 60 that they are rocking with. There's a copy of Eerie in here. I currently see no Colognes, so when you see a Mimikyu, you probably use your own Mimikyu, so that's the main reasoning behind this. There's a high amount of Penny in here as well, but it's Iron Thorns, believe it or not, with more basic Pokemon than ever. There's a Lugia build, and this is very similar to the build that Rahul already popularized with the Raikou thrown in there. Phasandipity, Iron Bundle, so that little package thrown in there, Earthen Vessel and the Lightning Energy, and they come back with some additional stuff as well, like the Wellspring is also in this 60, and we do see a Thornton as well. Thornton can also allow you to just get a Pokemon into play once again if it is in the discard pile when the opponent least expects it. So Lugia is still not done quite yet. There is another Iron Thorns this time around, going for the classic 60s we've seen before. Very similar to the 60 from Worlds with Pokemon catchers in there, Crushing Hammers and the Prime Catcher. So lots of Gust, and the double Cologne and Lost City can help you out a ton against Mimikyu. So that's cool. And then there's a new archetype. Hello, hello. How cool is that? Ceruledge EX, a new archetype. Look at this 60. This is a ridiculous 60. Like, if you see this on the screen right now, what is this? You don't need a lot of cards. You just have 1/3 of your deck being fire type energies. You have a legacy energy to offset the price rate, so you can actually attack with 4 Ceruledge EXs in a game. We have access to Carmine, Squawkabilly, Pokestop. So your objective is clear, right? Dump as many energies from your deck into the discard pile, and you're actually slapping 30 damage plus 20 more for every energy in your discard pile. So that means Seruledge can be slapping a ridiculous amount of damage. Let's say there's 10 energies in the discard pile. That is already enough to slap for 230 damage. With a high amount of Balls Orders, the only thing you're going to be doing with Ceruledge is like Balls Squawk, Balls Luminion, Balls Rotom, Balls Phasandipity, and knock you out in the late game. You can go after the big HP Pokemon. So, love a 60 like this, and I'm definitely going to be checking it out. Ceruledge EX, a new archetype that is doing well over in Japan. I expect this to be the only new archetype from the Surging Spark set, but I could be proven wrong. Then we have Shiba, where we're going to be seeing another Charizard, and this Charizard is the same stuff we've seen before. No new stuff that I have to talk about here. I love the Thornton, and they don't go for Prime Catcher. Instead, the Earn Fair Stamp seems to be the most popular ACE SPEC for the Charizard builds. Also, they all come back with one copy of the Mist Energy, so TM Devo is not going to be doing too much left and right. Then we have another cool deck, second place, the Archaludon EX, with a 1/1 line of Lugia VSTAR. But the cool thing is, if you have been sleeping under a rock, Archuladon here, you may use this ability when you play this Pokemon from your hand. And if you do, attach 2 basic energy cards you find there. Attach 2 basic energy cards from the discard pile to your metal Pokemon any way you like. So if you evolve, you can accelerate energies, and you can slap 220 quite easily, so it sets itself up. You have 300 HP for a stage 1 Pokemon. That's kind of huge. You can use Scoop Up Cyclone to undo damage and then go again, because the Scoop Up Cyclone works miracles with Archaludon EX. And the cool thing is you can also power up a Dialga to go for Star Chronos if you evolve most of your Duraludon. Duraludon also comes back with 130 HP. I would love it to be 140, so you're safe against stuff like the Dusknoir, which is not the case here. But then again, once you evolve, you are quite tanky indeed. And with Scoop Up Cyclone by our side, and Turos as well. Turo is really, really great with Archaludon EX because you're going to be discarding the energies. That means if you evolve back to it again, you can get the energies back. So you see where we're going with this. Palpat, Professor Turo. This is probably going to be like the new Arc. Do you remember Arc Intel with Charon's looping? Well, you can loop again, but this time around it's going to be with Professor Turo. And also a high amount of Gust here with 4 Pokemon catchers and Pokestop in here as well. So Archaludon, another new archetype. I was definitely proven wrong. This is another version of the Ceruledge EX. This time around, they're playing a copy of Spiritomb to slow down all the Rotoms and the Luminions of the world. You also come back with Briar. Because you are a Terra Pokemon, you can make use of Briar to take those additional prize cards with the help of the Palpat, the Pokestop, the Phasandipity, the Greninja Draw Power, which you're going to be using all the time because you want to be dumping all those energies. You're going to be doing a lot. There's also Mist Energy to protect yourself from effects of attacks, which is actually pretty cool as well. So yeah, and very nice to see a different version of that as well. Then a Lugia build. Nothing new under the sun here. Only 1 Great Ball. I'm actually one of the very few people playing 4 Great Ball in Lugia. It's always the same. People go their own way. Alright, then we have Kochi, the city in Kochi, where they had a lot of players. Let's see here. Charizard won again. So Charizard seems to be the #1 top dog. And that makes sense. When the new set drops, Charizard typically is always the deck people grab towards. And the cool thing is that this actually becomes available as a League Battle deck shortly. So we expect an even bigger increase. This is second place, Raging Bolt with a 1-0-1 line of the Dusknoir that can really help to take a cheeky prize card left and right so you can finish the game quicker, and also with the help of your turn 1 capabilities to attack, you're going to be doing miracles here. The cool thing is that sometimes you can also go for Dusknoir, put the opponent to 1 prize card, for example, then Iono them to 1, which is a very strong combo indeed. But yeah, Raging Bolt still alive. Snorlax Block is also still around. This wants to try and punish Lugia players by playing Giacomo and 3 copies of Temple of Sinnoh. Is that enough to win against Lugia? In my opinion, yeah, 3 Temple is pretty good, to be honest. But if the opponent just plants their stadiums right, I think the 3 Temple really help out because it actually eliminates Jet Energy. Other than that, we do have still the accompanying flute, which is super annoying, handheld fan, and disruption cards like Eerie, Misfortune Sisters, and Zero Sick can really push the opponent back. There's also Cornerstone Ogerpon in here and Mimikyu as always to win specific matchups. There is Turbo Roaring Moon. This actually is a list playing an Enhanced Hammer, so you can get rid of those annoying Mist Energies, which seems to be coming into Charizard decks. They are in Lugia decks. Sometimes they're in Seruledge decks, as we saw. So, yeah, they have the Enhanced Hammer, packing the technology to beat that. The cool copy of the Binding Mochi, so you can go for the Calamity Storm for 260, which can sometimes matter against 230 or even higher HP Pokemon. A high amount of Gust with 4 Pokemon Catchers, and to just make up for that, instead of not playing like Prime Catcher, they actually went for an Unfair Stamp. Okay. Alright, I actually saw another Archuludon here, but that's top 9. We're not going to be taking a look at. Although you're here for new deck list, right? So I'm obligated to check it out. This is an Archuludon deck playing the Dunsparce and also Relicanth, because with the Rolodon, you can slap 80 damage plus 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So with the Relicanth, you can actually start using attacks from its previous evolution. So this is one of the very few times we're seeing the Relicanth in action, because during your next turn, this Pokemon has no weakness. It's a very good attack, to be honest. So maybe I wonder why you would want to be using 80 plus 10 more, so you can actually one-shot stuff that is already damaged. I'm very confused why they are playing the Relicanth in here. Maybe you can just poke a little bit, I suppose. I think the other attack is way better, obviously. The Full Metal Lap also gives you some defensive power, 30 less damage to your Metal type Pokemon, and of course the Palpad and Turo combination here is doing miracles. There's a maximum belt in here, so the Archaludon can actually hit for 270, which can be really crucial against stuff like Ceruledge, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so Charizard are doing crazy. Fukuoka, let's see here, Roaring Moon winning. Roaring Moon even won against the Lugia deck in the final. So the lots of gusting capabilities because of Pokemon Catcher are really helping out. Let's see, the Lugia player was actually coming back with Serena. It's been a while since we've seen that. And they actually come back with Great Balls. No stadiums in this list. So, but they are playing 1 copy of the Raikou and a Torton in there as well. If you're playing Raikou, I'm always a big fan of adding in the Lightning Energy as well. This is a hybrid build, getting 3rd place here with Charizard in combination with Dragapult. We've seen stuff like this before, but I think with so many Stage 2s, this is like Stage 2 Binder Drop. They're all powerful cards in a nutshell, but you're going to be clunking up your opening hand for sure. So I'm very surprised it got so far. A Raging Bolt here with the Sandy Shocks as the way to beat Mimikyu. Other than that, consistency cards like Pokestop, Pokegear, Trekking Shoes. So Raging Bolt is also still around. Then another tournament won by Iron Thorns over in Tokyo. Let's see what his Iron Thorns comes back with. A Hero Escape. Okay, Hero Escape is the ACE SPEC card of choice. Lower down on the Pokemon Catchers. Added in a Misfortune Sisters. Giovanni's Charisma also comes back into the 60. And an Enhanced Hammer to make the decks that are relying on DTE a little bit more of a headache. So they're going to be having a hard time against Iron Thorns. Yeah, again, Iron Thorns winning from Lugia quite easily in that finals match. This is actually playing 2 copies of Jamming Tower, which I am a big fan of in Lugia. There is another Raging Bolt. Nothing new under the sun. There is Charizard, also again, same 60s popping up time and time again. Prime Catcher over Unfair Stamp in this one. there's a lot of Ceruledge. So Ceruledge is definitely going to be an archetype. There's already a couple of builds you can see on the screen right now. I wonder which one is your favorite. Let me know down below in the comment section. Let's get a discussion started. This is actually feeling way better in my opinion than the list playing like 20 basic fire energies. That's like a little bit too crazy. Kanagawa with Palkia Noctowl winning. This Palkia Noctowl is going to be the hybrid build with Iron Leaves, the Trumpets as well. Make the Trumpets go, and then you can actually start swinging with Iron Leaves to deal with something like a Charizard. I'm personally am a bigger fan of playing Terrapicus as its own archetype, but also Palkia is way better with Dusknoir, but this seems to be doing the trick as well. So if you want to be playing a Palkia list that is not too mainstream, that's the one for you. An Iron Thorns with the Deluxe Bomb. Deluxe Bomb is actually kind of funky if they attack you. And they can actually receive 12 damage counters, so that could be really funny if you have this equipped and you think like, oh, they're gonna be swinging with something like a Charmeleon, for example. They're instantly knocked out, so they're not gonna be doing that. So which is in terms actually kind of funky. It's really funky. So what else do we see here? Yeah, a lot of disruption, Colossus Tenacity, and the TM Devo. So Iron Thorns doing stuff for sure. Raging Bolt. Now, this is actually something interesting. This Raging Bolt is coming back with Latias EX. If you don't know what Latias EX does, it actually brings free retreat to all of your basic Pokemon in play. How cool is that? You never have to worry about, oh, I need to have my Switch card or I need to have Prime Catcher to get myself out of this awkward situation because they trapped my Raging Bolt. No longer an issue because when you have Latias on board, all of your basic Pokemon instantly have free retreat, meaning you can cut the switching cards altogether. Although if you do that, Snorlax Block will punish you because manual retreatments are still not possible when Snorlax Block is your opponent. Also, yeah, Cornerstone in here and an Ogre's Mask. I've been thinking about this combo for a while now, and I'm glad to see someone actually pulling it off. The cool thing is with Glass Trumpet and the Ogre's Mask, you can transform your Teal Mask all the way into a Cornerstone and then wall off Pokemon that have abilities. Another Zard Dusknoir list. This seems to be a very, very popular list, and yeah, we've seen it time and time again. And over in the West, Charizard is not performing as it used to be, but yeah, over in Japan, Charizard is still around. We have a Baraki with Dragapult Pidgeot winning. Alright, this Dragapult list is playing Grand Tree to instantly evolve your basics all the way into the Stage 2. And the cool thing with that is that you can get this Dragapult out of nowhere, discard a number of bench Dreepies, and for every Dreepy you discard it, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and do 100 damage to it. So with the Super Rod thrown in there, Buddy Puffin, you could be sniping something like, for example, a Rotom, and off it goes. You just one-shot it with a one-prize Pokemon. You do give up in your Dreepy, so it's probably more of like a late-game attack, but it's still very funky regardless. Cool tech. Then we have Lost Box deck coming back with the double Manaphy, just so if they actually see a Regidrago VSTAR, they actually have that. Another interesting thing I see here is that they're playing Enhanced Hammer. I do love the Raikou in the list as more and more people are playing the Area 0 under that. Give yourself an out against Lugia on top of it, as well as Palkia VSTAR. So Raikou seeing more and seems to be the most popular legendary dog. I know Suicune rotated, but yeah, Entei's still around, but Raikou seems to be the better one of the bunch here in this Lost Box deck. Then there is a Palkia VSTAR deck that is coming back with all sorts of weird stuff. We have the Latias for free retreats. We have the Area 0 under that, 4 copies. There is a Temple of Sinnoh in there as well. You have Canceling Cologne Prime Catcher. How do you get these cards? How do you get these cards? I don't get it. There's a ton of supporters in here, but there is no like additional drop. You can go Radiant Greninja, Mew EX is draw, I suppose. There's even a Chimpao. Chimpao is actually super good because now when you do come back with free retreat thanks to the means of Latias, Chimpao can actually become your Capacious Bucket, if you remember that. You can actually just get yourself water energies from the deck quite easily. And that's actually super cool indeed. 2 copies of Cornerstone in here as well. I don't know what is going on in this list, but and even a Keldeo. Yeah, let's just close it down because that's just too crazy to think about. A Raging Bolt with a Slitherwing, something we've seen before with Caleb Gadamer winning, of course, the Louisville Regionals with a copy of the Slitherwing. Helps you to hit weakness against decks that are weak to fighting, which is totally awesome. Another cool thing and an homage I want to give here is a special deck here is the Hisuian Arcanine that actually slaps 120 damage if any of your Pokemon have damage on them. That means this Arcanine can one-shot Terrapagus. It can one-shot even... Can it one-shot Blood Moon Ursaluna? I should think about now. Not quite yet, unless you're relying on more damage output with something, which I don't see. So pretty much you're going to be countering Miraidon, you're going to be countering Terrapagus, and oh yeah, with Grant you can get there, okay. With Grant you can even get the Blood Moon one-shot as well if you would desire, and Dodrio slaps 10 damage plus 30 more for every damage counter. So as the more time goes on, the crazier it becomes. There's also a very cool Drayton supporter in here. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Pokemon and a trainer card, you find them and put them in the hand. So this most likely will come to Surging Sparks. If not, it'll become available as a promo. So I'm very curious to see. This is a very cool rogue deck, so I want to be shedding some light onto it. Then there's Aichi with Lugia winning. Lugia is always super popular over in Japan. So Lugia with the weird ear, no Raikou in here, but they're coming back with Luminous, and that means Radiant Zard can do some very funky stuff. As soon as the opponent has taken at least 4 prize cards, Radiant Zard can come swooping in. Is that better than Blood Moon? In my opinion, it's a little bit of the same, so I personally wouldn't invest too much into it. Another Zard. Yeah, Zard is doing well. Lugia with the Snorlax with the Unfazed Fat. It's been a while since we've seen that. There's even a Therapeutic Energy to come unpack with that, and even a Vitality Band, allowing Lugia to Tempest Dive for the magical number of 230. You might think, is that even great? How do you find it? Well, with the help of 3 copies of Arven. Arven is also super good because Arven allows you to find Ultra Ball. And this Lugia list also comes back with TM Devo, of all things. I know, it's funky. Maybe to help beat Zard. Next, Terrapagus Dusknoir. Okay, do we see anything weird here? There's a 202 line of the Pidgeot instead of a 101 line, which you typically see. There's they made room for Bouffalant, so having some defensive power to get yourself all the way to 290 that the opponent needs to dish out to in order to one-shot you. And we do see Briar, but no copy of the Palpad. Okay. Pretty interesting. Alright, let's move on with Niigata. The Niigata City League won by Raging Bolt. Yeah, no new cards, just classic Raging Bolt. Snorlax block, the runner-up with Chiyu. Sometimes you see Chiyu, sometimes you don't. This one wants to mill a little bit proactively faster, and Chiyu always goes hand in hand with the Heroescape ACE SPEC card. Then another Raging Bolt in 3rd place. So we have Briar in this 60. You don't always see Briar, but when it is there, it sometimes wins games. You have a Lost Box deck playing a Fajir Giraffe. Yeah, that even a Pokemon actually is immune from prevent all damage on this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon EX. Prevent all the damage from the basic Pokemon EXs. So if you're up against a big basic deck, for example, a Raging Bolt, you just throw this up in the active and just go with it. And in this deck, it actually can attack. So if something like a Slither Wing comes your way, or something like a Sandy Shocks, you can still deal with it because you can power it up quite easily through the means of Mirage Gate. Iron Thorns also a super annoying card to deal with, and there is the new Kyurem, which actually can paralyze the Dragon type Pokemon. I think also it slaps 250, I suppose, but most of the time you'll be using this Kyurem to actually paralyze them in combination with a Roxanne to then clean up afterwards. So Lost Box, slowly but steadily, people are believing in the deck once again. Then we have me, not me, but the City League me. We have a bunch of Raging Bolts, not Raging Bolt, a bunch of Regidrago doing well. No new cards in the list. No Temple in the list as well. Here we have Snorlax block in all its menace with a Luxury Escape. You don't see that very often in Snorlax block, but it is here. Another Regidrago VSTAR with Prime Catcher, with Cologne. Prime Catch Cologne combos, gotta love it. And there's a Professor Turo in there as well. It still wasn't enough to get them through the Snorlax, but it is what it is. We have a Charizard list, and this list is, yeah, with Heroescape. So, Heroescape, Unfair Stamp, or Prime Catcher. What is the best ACE SPEC in Charizard? Let me know down below in the comments. Let's get that discussion started. All the way into Party City, Osaka. Another Zard winning. So, Zard is dominating over in Japan. So much is clear. Raging Bolts, look at this. Raging Bolt is like, this is a 60 that is super popular over in Japan. Tons of people have been playing it to some grand success. There is Terrapagus with a 1 copy of the Bravery Charm as a unique spicy card right there. Regidrago VSTAR. Yeah, most of these 60s don't change all too often. So the Archuludon and the Seruledge are the only new archetypes, it seems, that are doing well. For now. Now in Oita, again, Zard. This is getting old news. Dragapult with a smaller line of Dusknoir, a 101 line. Opted to go for more Nazballs. It makes sense and is going first meta. Another Zard getting 3rd place. And Roaring Moon. I see a Roaring Moon somewhere left and right, but energy stickers, please lose them because this is not the way you want to be winning games, right? 3 Pokemon catchers, 2 energy stickers. That's a lot of coin flip cards. If you want to be playing coin flip cards, go play with the Iron Thorns. Next to Hokkaido opened the north in Japan. Hokkaido was won there by Palkia. This is a 60 that was popularized by Stefan Ivanov, doing really well at the Dortmund regionals. Dragapult with a whole lot of tech cards. TM Evo, Pokemon League Headquarters, Vitality Band, Luminous Energy. There's even the new. This actually might help. The Terra Orb allowing you to search your deck for a Terra Pokemon. That's easy access to either Zard or Dragapult, so it's a mixture of those. And there's also a new supporter here. Lazia's Appeal. Switch in one of your opponent's bench basic Pokemon to the active, and then it is also confused. Is that better than Boss's Orders? Nah, you confuse, maybe? Nah, I'm not a big believer. Finally, we see something else here. Gardevoir is seemingly alive, getting a top 4 placement over here in Hokkaido, up in the north of Japan. Then we go all the way to Ehime, and that was actually won by Zard. Hello! I've seen too many Zards. I'm not going to be clicking on any more Zards, that's for sure. Dragapult. Snorlax Block. Okay. Also playing the Lazia's Appeal. That's could confuse. Confuse is actually pretty nice. That can buy yourself a lot of time. And then a Roaring Moon playing Walking Wake. Actually, this is just Ancient Box. Ancient Box with the Secret Box and a couple of 2 prizers in the form of the Roaring Moon EX, which sometimes will be able to attack through the means of Attachment, Sada, and Dark Patch, which you can all find with the Secret Box. Secret Box is the Pandora's box for Roaring Moon EX, it seems. Then Saitama. Okay. We see Gardevoir winning it all. Okay. Gardevoir believers, don't get hyped up too much because this is Japanese results, so this could still change. Like over in the West, people have put down Gardevoir, it seems. There's Regidrago VSTAR. Dragapult Charizard list. Pokemon League Headquarters is really popular, as Raging Bolt is really popular. I'll note to self, these are all played in best of 1 format. So hence, that's why people are going with the risky routes with some tech cards left and right. Then Tokyo again, lots of tournaments over in Tokyo, that's for sure. With the Tokyo results, we have Dragapult, similar 60 to Dortmund's finals list. Then a bunch of Lugias. We have the Lugia special here with double lightning energy and a vessel, so focus on the lightning attacks. Only 2 copies of Lugia VSTAR. Like, how greedy is this? Never gets punished, right? Then a Lugia player coming back with the lightning energy. 3 great balls, my man. That's perfect. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, next up, another Lugia 60. No lightning energies in here. They do come back with the Klefki and a jamming tower. So lots of Lugia right there. Crazy. Alright, Tokyo number 2. There was another tournament over in Tokyo. Ancient Box, able to take it all down. Coming back with the Patcherent technology for the switch out. So if you're up against something like a Snorlax block, that's fantastic. Raging Bolt again, the same 60s we've seen before. More Lugia action. Coming back with the Radiant Zard, which sometimes can attack with Legacy Energy a little earlier than you might think. The Charizard also is nice because Archuludon is actually packing up some heat. This actually is playing a Reverum line. Reverum is actually pretty interesting. That can slap 120 plus, actually 20 plus 120 more. So, and that is actually super nice here because not only do you have your draw engine with the form of Reverum, and then Reverum puts the energies in the discard pile so you can accelerate them with Archuludon. You have your lightning attacker in the deck as well, which is super, super crazy. Also, you can sometimes rely upon the Relicanth again. I really need to know why Relicanth is in here. Is it super important to start swinging? Oh, for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Okay, how did I not read this? So, yeah, the Relicanth is in there. So if they damage you, let's say Tempest die for 220, you can go for the Raging Hammer and boof, you slap 300. Okay, now I am beginning to understand the appeal of the Relicanth. But yeah, you see, this is going to be a strong archetype in the game, Archuludon EX. And that another tournament happened in Tokyo, and that was one with Raging Bolt, then Lugia, Charizard, and Gardevoir. So no new things under the horizon, so I'm not going to be putting any more attention to them. If you want, you can check them out over at limitlesstcg.com. Now we're going to Shiba, where Archuludon, not Archaludon, the Seruledge was able to get second place. It's actually playing the Arbor Rouge as well, so you can move around your energies left and right. It is playing Luminous energies, 4 copies, as well as the Legacy energies. So sometimes you can get that second attack off. 280 damage. If you want to get it off, we have the Magma Basin, Attach of the Turn, stuff like that could happen. Rigged Band as well for some additional defense. So as mentioned, this only has 270 HP. So you can have some defense by your side. So Seruledge, very great in the late game. Very scary archetype as well. Then Kanagawa, there was a tournament happening where Ancient Box was able to take it all down. So Ancient Box slowly but steadily becoming better again as the Dusknoir deck seemed to be not fading out, but the amount of Briar might be like, nah, now that I think about it, I don't even know. Like, they just were lucky to just face stuff like Iron Thorns, I suppose, because Iron Thorns, 2 versions of that into that top 4. What a very fun top 4 that is. Next up, Kagoshima, Zard winning, then Lugia, then 3rd place Gardy, and then Dragapult, Arbor Rouge, 4th place, really? What is this monstrosity of a deck? I'm always like asking myself the question, when people make these decks, do they just drop their binder or what happens to just get stuff like this? Kind of funky. Another tournament over in Tokyo. We're actually on the 13th of October, by the way. Raging Bolt winning, then Lugia, Gardevoir, and then Lugia again. So tons of Lugia still around. If I had to say here, the big winner here, for all we know, is Charizard, winning the most of them. Lugia, 1st place list. Let's check it out. Not a lot of new stuff here. Tick Chino line, love that. What else? Gholdengo, 2nd place. Okay, we can take a look at something new. Gholdengo with Dusknoir. And the new Crazy Energy Search Pro. Search your deck for any number of basic energy cards of different types and put them in the hand. So you play 1 energy of every single type, unless you're playing the metal energies. Those are like way more in quantity. But yeah, you go for Irida, you get yourself the Energy Pro, and you get yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 energies, and then Gholdengo says, make it rain, Shazam, poof. That sounds like fun. Like, the ACE SPEC cards really look like fun, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, continuing on, maybe we should play the Energy Pro and then go for a research. No, you cannot do that because it needs to be energies of different types. But then again, Ceruledge actually doesn't specify basic fire energies, right? It states basic energies. So maybe we have something going right there. Okay, what else? Raging Bolt winning. Arceus! Arceus has returned. Our Lord and Savior. The god of all Pokemon. Arceus VSTAR Dusknoir with a Noivern package. Well done. Noivern helps a ton to establish that up against stuff like Raging Bolt. So you auto win that. And then you have the Dusknoir package, which can deal with all evolution-based decks as soon as you're going first. And then Blood Moon finishes off later. Love this archetype. We'll need to test it out, see if it's any good. But yeah, Arceus with... What is this? 7th place. It is... Regies. Oh, dang. What a pincer. What does the pincer do? If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponents, 180. Okay, so the pincer can be powered up quite easily. And now, the cool thing that will put Regies, hopefully, back on the map. The Precious Carrier. Search your deck for any number of basic Pokemon and put them on your bench. So pretty much how this will flow. You slap down Terapagos EX. And you slap down Area 0 under depth. And then you activate the rescue carrier and then boom, all the Regis come flying out the deck left and right. Ah, this is gonna be such a fun video. I cannot wait for this to actually come out. It's nice to see that. Top 8, not the craziest thing ever, but I hope people will just improve the deck list as time goes on. There's Dragapult, Noctowl Pidgeot. What is this? Yeah, it's just Terrapagos. Just classic Terrapagos. A Gholdengo, yeah, the Energy Pro is definitely the way to go now with Gholdengo. So people want to have some new life with Gholdengo the Cheese Man, Jelle van Kampen. This is the time to shine because this is super cool. Okay, then continuing on, we have Gifu with Lugia winning, then Zard, Dragapult, Raging Bolt. So these are still the tier 1/tier 2 decks of the format. Tournament in Niigata won by Lost Box. Actually, it was Sable Zard with Defiance Band and the TM Crisis Punch. Yeah, 2 copies of Lost Vacuum, no Pokestops, however. 2 copies of Roxanne. I would love 1 copy of the Gravity Orb here because Gravity Orb with Counter Catcher with Roxanne and Lost Mine can win games. I have tested this before, so there's that. All right, then an Iron Thorns. Although Iron Thorns sometimes is pretty good as well. Depends on the meta, to be honest, but it is doing stuff. Shizuoka, Raging Bolt winning, Iron Thorn 2nd place. There is a Blizzy Fetch Giraffe EX deck that got pretty far. Charon Scare, Fairy Giraffe, very cool. Also a Cornerstone in there, so Blizzy. Is this a one-hit wonder? Most likely, but I still want to be showcasing it today in this video. Okinawa, back in the southern islands of Japan. Very cool place to be, by the way. I've been there before, Okinawa. You should definitely check out the Ocean Center right there. It's one of the biggest in the world. What do we see here is Regibolt, then Lugia, Dragapult, and Chimpao doing stuff. Alright, I am very surprised as you guys, but it was instantly losing against the other decks in the format, so there was that. Fukuoka again. Lugia, Charizard, Raging Bolt. That's the same stuff. Lugia, Charizard, Raging Bolt, and any other decks like Dragapult. Those are like the most played decks that we see so far. Shiman, Raging Bolt, Ancient Box, and Ancient Box. Ancient Box, underplayed. Most likely, definitely here over in the West, we see Dragapult, Regibolt, Charizard. Okay. I will need to make a graph. We're actually in Kyoto, by the way. Kyoto, beautiful city over in Japan for sure. Tons of temples available. Here we see Ancient Box. That is a classic Roaring Moon. Turbo Roaring Moon, then Raging Bolt and Charizard. Like, look at all these Ceruledges. Almost at the bottom 16. What happened? Okay, another new deck. We have it here. Sylveon EX. Just look at this attack. Choose 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and shuffle those Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the deck. That is a very powerful attack. I know you can get it off with Mirage Gate, but the cool thing with this is that if you plan that with the Roxanne, 2 copies of Roxanne, the opponent will be left crumbling, and then you can finish them up. Here's the Gravity Orb Stone. Perfect. Now people are listening to me. There is also the attack here, the Magical Charm, 160. During your opponent's next turn, you take 100 less damage. So combined, this is like very good with Roxanne, for sure. And because you play the Eevee here, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, it can evolve during your first turn or on the turn it was put in play. So Eevee can instantly evolve again. Yes, this is perfect. Can we get more evolutions? Please give me a great Jolteon EX and I'll be happy. All right. That's something I wanted to be showcasing here. It actually got top 8. So top 8 with Sylveon. That is, something we haven't seen before. Lugia and then Snorlax, Lugia. So Snorlax had a really rough. Were they playing Temple? They were playing 2 Temples, but that is not enough to stop the likes of Lugia VSTAR. Then Kyoto again. Lugia winning. Then Dragapult, Raging Bolt. Not a lot of interesting other decks. Kagawa. Okay, what is this? Palkia got 2nd place with Klawf. Yo, I take a Palkia deck, I take a Klawf deck. Boom! I have a rogue deck. Let's go. Sparkling Crystal combination with the Wellspring seems cool. Also could allow you to attack with the Cornerstone to wall off while attacking as well. And a high amount of DTE for the Klawf. Yo man, people are being super creative right now. Alright, then where were we? Aichi with Gardevoir winning, then Lugia, Regidrago, and then a Roaring Moon deck. Alright. Another tournament. Chimpao, third place. Okay, what did they play? Yeah, this looks like an old school Chimpao list to me. They are playing the Kyogre though. The Kyogre could deal with Luminions, Squawkabillies as well. Triple Cologne. Triple Cologne. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making this up. This person's playing 3 Colognes. They really want to be going for the Dangerous Ninja, alright? Funky. It's the best of 1, so yeah. You most likely will draw into the Cologne in the opening phases of the game. Okay. There's a Gholdengo again. Also, Dusknoir Archaludon. So we're going to be taking a look at the Gholdengo first, probably with the superior... No, not the energy. The crazy energy ACE SPEC cards. It's not in there. We do get a new Gimme Ghoul. Search your deck for 2 basic energy cards and put them in hand. Is it better than getting the basic Pokemon? That is all up to you, ladies and gentlemen. But we now have the option. There's also Archuludon combination with Dusknoir. So, yeah. For more damage output, I suppose. No Relicanth shenanigans in here. Relicanth can really help out for bigger one-shots if you survive a hit. So that's cool. Archaludon, I'm glad it is somewhat doing something at least. Okay, what else? Ancient Box winning. What was that? And then Snorlax block, Raging Bolt, and then Mimikyu Cornerstone. They said, screw Snorlax block. I'm just playing these 2. With the new ACE SPEC card to heal 150 damage. Okay. Is it better than... yeah, you can instantly play and like heal your Ogre Pawn, I suppose. Penny as well, so lots of healing. So your Cornerstone wall deck, something like it. I haven't seen any Miraidon. Like, if I had to take a look at some like decks that are currently like in the format, let's go to Play That Limitless to just take a quick look. We see Raging Bolt Charizard, that's a thing. Terrapica's doing less good in Japan, as of course they are playing best of 1, and if this deck goes second, it's less good. Dragapult, Regidrago, Lugia still around, Palkia is around, Gardevoir, Iron Thorns. Miraidon has disappeared, not doing well at all over in Japan. Ceruledge comes back in the format. Ancient Box, funny enough, is doing well, but it seems to be not a lot has changed. So it's more of the same, it seems. Gunma, let's see what we have here. A couple of Regidrago VSTAR decks doing well. Another Seruledge, and this Seruledge is actually coming back with Klawf. On the first turn, on the third of the game, you cannot attack regardless, so it's not bad having Klawf in the 60. Lots of Gust with Pokemon catchers and 2 copies of Boss's Orders as well. Dang. Then in Tokyo, Gholdengo was able to win it all. The new Superior Energy Pro shenanigans is actually super good for Gholdengo, and it puts the deck in a whole different perspective. So, yeah, that's cool to see. Gholdengo getting the buff. Okay. Then, a Lugia deck winning. Then, Dragapult, Iron Thorns, Dragapult. Sure. Any new decks quite yet? Abiraki. Was won by Gardevoir, Raging Bolt, and then 2 Iron Thorns. Why is everyone playing Iron Thorns? Maybe they say best of 1. Let's cheese the opponents. Charizard, Roaring Moon, Raging Bolt, Charizard. Okay. We have seen so many Charizard lists. There's nothing new that we want to be seeing. Okay, Seruledge with Noctowl. I think this is actually super cool because, as mentioned, Seruledge is a Terra Pokemon, which means Noctowl can get any cards you want from the deck. You cherry pick them. You even have the Terra Orb, which allows you to search for a Seruledge instantly, which has great synergy with Noctowl. And this perfect mixer allows you to discard 5 cards from your deck, which means a 100 damage buff for the attack of Seruledge. How cool is that? I like it a ton. Squawkabilly, Carmine, and then the perfect mixer in combination. Nice. Okay, where were we? like lots of Zard. Yeah, I think we were somewhere along the lines here. Sure, there's one more that I want to be checking out. Zard, and then Lugia. Sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about today. Don't want these videos to be like insanely long. So in my opinion, Zard is still incredibly good. Lugia is also still incredibly good. Regies and Bolt as well. So these seem to be like the top 3 dogs, actually the top 3 decks in general from this Surging Sparks format. 2 new decks with Archuludon EX, Turo Loopable, and the aggressive deck, the Ceruledge, which can pack huge damage output in the late game. And then sometimes we can toy around a little bit with Sylveon, but we'll have to wait for more results. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. It helps out in ridiculous ways. You have no idea. Subscribe for more Pokemon TCG content coming your way. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG epicness. Have a good one. Peace.